Welcome back. So if you look at this, you can probably see that the hairs curl in. So when I was wearing this yesterday, as I spoke during the power rankings, it kept going further and further inside. So I was trying to get the hair out of my mouth. So that's why I'm not wearing the Santa beard, which I had intended to when I heard it. I was like, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna do videos for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So the hat I'm using, beard not so much. So now I want to talk about the Central Division. And again, it's Christmas Eve, so I don't expect anybody to be watching this. Not even wearing pants. So Dallas 28-4. I am definitely wearing pants. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. 28-4 record for Dallas right now. 44 points and a 688 points percentage. Their points percentage is best in the division. Dallas has done well despite the loss of Jake Ottinger. Their upcoming schedule is going to be a good test. They have a run where they have 7 of 8 at home. And again, home cooking for Dallas at times has been a bit of a challenge this season. It does feel like, though, this is a team that could really hit their stride in the second half of the season. And the good news being they're already first in their division. I don't think we've seen the best out of them yet. Picking an MVP for the Dallas Stars is not easy because it's like, okay, do I want to go with Jason Robertson? Well, no, he's not scoring goals the way we thought he would. Do I want to go with Rope Hintz? Well, no, I wouldn't say Hintz has necessarily been dominant. I went with Joe Pavelski because sure, why not? There's any number of players on the Dallas Stars roster who could be a hero on any given night, and it makes them a lot of fun to watch. It really it does. So right now they're the number 2 seed in the West, meaning they would face Nashville in the first round. And after what we saw yesterday, I think that would be a fun series. And I'm not saying that based on the last 13 seconds. Just Nashville and Dallas usually have crazy games when they're against each other. Yesterday was crazy late, but I know over the last few years they've had some pretty insane matchups. So I would welcome that as a series. I think that'd be fun. Then you have Colorado, 21-11-2 overall. They also have 44 points, 647 points percentage for them. So points percentage wise, they're third in the division. Points wise, they're second. Upcoming, they have 11 of 13 on the road. Now, when I say upcoming, I don't mean immediately. It just means that later on, they have, like in January, they have a stretch where it's 11 out of 13 on the road. So for Colorado, that's going to be a really good test for them. But if they start getting healthier, I think they'll be fine. But either way, their MVP has to be Nathan MacKinnon because even though I could try to make an argument for Cale Makar, I can't. It has to be Nathan MacKinnon. It absolutely does. You can argue Rantanen at points, sure, but overall, it's definitely been MacKinnon. It is his team, and with the rate he's scoring right now, if he can keep that up, he may chase down Nikita Kucherov at the top of the list of points producers in the National Hockey League. And then you got Winnipeg, 29-3. And of course, the Jets yesterday would have been watching hockey and hoping that both Colorado and Dallas would lose so they could be first today. And then I'd be wearing their jersey. But instead, both Colorado and Dallas got the wins. So 43 points, 672 points percentage. So they're right near the top in that standing. And they have an upcoming stretch where they have 5 of 7 on the road. So for Winnipeg, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes for them. The good news is whether they're at home or on the road, it feels like they're playing a really good system right now. It's been so impressive to watch. MVP, I went back and forth on their MVP. I was like, well, it would have been Kyle Connor, but he's been hurt. And while he's been hurt, they're still winning. Is it Mark Scheifele? Is it Josh Morrissey? Can you make an argument that recently it's been Nick Ehlers? I went with Connor Hellebuck. And it does feel like now we're in a league where it really is the whole team. If you're going to win, it has to be the whole team. You need your top 6, your top 4, so your top 6 up front, your top 4 on the blue line, and both your goaltenders to be going. And it feels like for the Jets, they kind of have that going for them right now. So it's been a lot of fun. Then you have Nashville. They're in a playoff spot. They're the number 1 wild card at 19-15, 38 points, 559 points percentage. They have an upcoming stretch of 6 out of 7 on the road. Nashville is mildly better at home. But their MVP, Philip Forsberg, is dangerous wherever they play. I still think it's the mustache that makes him really dangerous. But for Forsberg, and honestly, that mustache would look good in any Western movie. If they ever remake Tombstone, I'm saying right now, if Forsberg doesn't get cast in it, there's a problem. But yeah, Forsberg is, I think, their best player. I don't think there'll be a lot of arguments, although there may be some people who feel Saros, some people who may feel that Yossi's been their most consistent player. But yeah, I'm going with Forsberg. For the Arizona Coyotes, they have 36 points. They are 1 point clear of the St. Louis Blues with a record of 17, 14, and 2. So these teams are really close. 545 points percentage for the Coyotes. They have an upcoming run of 5 out of 6 at home, and they're very good at the mullet. For all the joking about that arena, for all the joking about that team and how terrible they are, they haven't been terrible this year. And again, 17, 14, and 2. It's not setting the world on fire, but it's a pretty good record. The MVP for me with them is Connor Ingram. Connor Ingram, I think, has been their most consistent player. Like, I wanted to put Keller, I did. But, yeah, there's been stretches where Keller's scoring has been a bit down, and Ingram's been bailing him out. So I'm going with Connor Ingram on that. But again, you guys can let me know your thoughts. Is Connor Ingram the MVP in your eyes? Again, it's Christmas Eve, so there's no reason for fighting. Are we going to... Really? Is there? Oh, okay. All right, fine. So St. Louis, 17, 15, and 1 overall, 35 points, a 530 points percentage for them. They have 7 of their next 9 at home. So I wanted to specify that immediately they have 7 out of 9 at home. And last night against Chicago, that was a huge comeback. Yes, it was against Chicago, and we will talk about Chicago in a moment here. But still, pretty impressive comeback, and St. Louis playing right near that playoff line. They may get above it, and then the question becomes, if Drew Bannister gets them into the playoff spot, and if he does well, do you give him an extension, keep him around as your coach for quite some time, or do you just wait and see? That's the interesting point with St. Louis, is to see what they're going to do. But yeah, I think their MVP's been Robert Thomas. I feel like if this was being done a month ago, I don't know if Thomas necessarily would have been the MVP. I think I would have put Binnington, but I'm putting Robert Thomas. I feel like he's been the driving force behind this team's resurgence, at least in large part to me. I think he's been a big part of it. Binnington's numbers have been good, but to me, Thomas has been good the whole way through, and now he's dragging good numbers out of everybody else too. Although Buchnevich has been solid. Then we get to Minnesota. They're 15, 13, and 4 overall. They have 34 points, 531 points percentage. 8 of their next 11 are at home. So this is good news for Minnesota. Now, last night during that game with the Wild, and I mentioned this, I think, in the power rankings last night, the Minnesota wins games, but everybody above them has been winning games as well. Well, that's not going to stay that way. So if they keep winning their games, that's all they have to do. They will get above the line. So they're currently 2 points out of the playoffs. For MVP, I thought to go in a different direction. So we know Kaprizov can be their most valuable player, and maybe over the last couple weeks he has been with this resurgence. I think Brock Faber, though, has been their most consistent player, and I understand that he's not going to win Rookie of the Year because Bedard, but Brock Faber is a special talent on that blue line. And so I felt like it was important for me to give him kind of a shout out in this video because he's been excellent. Both offensively, defensively, he's played an absolute ton of minutes in the absence of Brodin and Spurgeon, and he's been fantastic. So I think what's happened, the benefit of this now for Bill Guerin is you understand now that Faber's ready. He's ready to be that guy, and so it might free up your ability to move a blue liner, and teams are always looking for defensemen when you get to the deadline, right? And maybe you free up some cap space, which of course is a concern for the Minnesota Wild too. That's the other thing. Faber's contract is very team friendly right now. It's not going to stay that way if he keeps playing like this, but that's a good problem to have. And then we get to Chicago. Chicago Blackhawks 10, 22, and 1 overall. They have 21 points, 318 points percentage. They have an upcoming 5-game road trip, but again, when you're 10, 22, and 1, you're losing at home and on the road. Connor Bedard has been the MVP. He did the Michigan last night. Trevor Zegras, of course, doing a Michigan for Anaheim as well. First time we've ever seen 2 Michigans in the same night. But yeah, Connor Bedard's been a lot of fun to watch. And he's shown he's almost at a point per game. He's got 30 points in 33 games without good line mates. And I say that not trying to disparage the line mates he has, but I mean, if you compare who he's playing with to star players around the NHL, just imagine how many points he'd have if he was playing with a guy like Zach Hyman, for instance, or if he had Forsberg on his line, or Pavelski, or, any of the other guys on this board. Maybe not Hellebuck. I think if Hellebuck was on his line, that might drag him down a bit, but even Faber, yeah, you put him up front, he'd probably figure it out right away. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch Bedard, but I will be interested to see what the Chicago Blackhawks do to get those teammates around him that are really going to elevate his game. But between now and then, he'll be doing Michigans, he'll be setting up plays, and he has that ridiculous release too, so it's like he's dangerous on every level. But anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts. So right now we have these top 5 teams all above the playoff line. Do all 5 stay above the playoff line by the end of the year? Can St. Louis get above that line? Edmonton, obviously, in the other division, could get above that line. Calgary wants to get. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this race in the West develop from here. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, or just because you feel like it. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.